So, as I mentioned, I'm going to tell you one story today, and it's taken from this book called Brilliant Wonders, which I've written. And it's all about how ordinary people achieve extraordinary things. And for this book, I interviewed over 60 people to try and figure out what is it that they share in common, and how can the rest of us learn from them so we can achieve extraordinary things as well. So I asked everybody 7 questions, the same 7 questions. And I want to tell you about one person that I interviewed today. This is an ordinary guy called Simon Hutchinson. He's from County Cavan in Ireland, and he cycled around the whole world. 18,000 miles is the Guinness Book of Record requirements, and he did it in 157 days. 159 days, sorry. Now, a few years ago, I tried to cycle to Hamburg in Germany, and I made it as far as Amsterdam, where kind of a combination of heat stroke and just a host of other problems led me to give it up. And I flew home. Now, I was only on the road for 5 days, but I experienced pain, exhaustion, punctured tires. It was just problem after problem, and I gave up. So, given the fact I was only on the road for 5 days, when I went to interview Simon for the book, the first thing I said was, how the hell did you not give up? It must have been so hard. And he said, I simply removed failure as an option. That's all he did. He said, I took failure off the table. This is a picture from the start line in London. And he said to me, I set off in London on a cold February morning, and I started to cycle eastward around the globe. He had a fiancée in County Cavan, who he loves very much, and he said, I decided I'm going to cycle eastward around the globe, and I'm not going to see that girl again until I get around the world on my bicycle. And he said, any problem that I encounter on this trip, I'll figure out the solution to. Now, when you remove failure as an option, I've noticed 2 things occur. The first thing is all of these mental obstacles, regardless of what your goal or dream might be. If you want to cycle around the world, climb Mount Everest, start a business, become a singer, pass your exams, whatever your goal is, when you remove failure as an option, you take away all the mental obstacles as well. All of these negative thoughts like, oh, I mightn't be good enough, or I'm not qualified, I don't have the experience, people might laugh at me, I might embarrass myself, or I might try really hard and still fail. All of these mental obstacles, they're gone. Now, some of them you might encounter, but most of them you won't. But sadly, just the thoughts of these things is enough to stop most people from ever trying to achieve the extraordinary thing that they really want to do. So when you remove failure as an option, the first thing is all those mental obstacles are gone. The only thing you need to worry about are the actual problems that you will face. But the great thing about it is when you remove failure, when it's off the table, and the only option you have, like Simon, is to keep moving forward. All of your mental capacity is now harnessed into solving whatever problem you face. You don't dwell on problems, you just say, all right, what's the solution? And that's what Simon did as he made his way around the world. And I'll give you some examples. He got to a Polish town, and his bike was broken. He wouldn't be able to go on any further. And he said to someone, as soon as he got into town, where's the bicycle shop? And they said, there's no bicycle shop here. There was actually an airport closer, so he had a perfect excuse to give up. But he said, there's no bicycle shop. Is there anyone who cycles a lot in the town? And he said, oh yeah, there's a guy up the hill who cycles a lot. Is there a welder? Yeah, there's a welder there. There's a mechanic over there. So between these few people and YouTube, they were able to figure out how to fix his bike, and he was on his way. Now, there was no bicycle shop in this town, but there were the resources to fix his bike. I don't think he would have found them had he not removed failure as an option. He got to India. This is a picture of him at the Taj Mahal. He got food poisoning in India, and he had to go to hospital. He had to get hooked up to IVs and drips for 2 days, get rehydrated before he got on his way again. He told me that when he got to Australia, the first place he started cycling from was Perth. And he said as he was cycling away from the airport, he noticed the problem with the pedal, and he started typing into his GPS looking for a bicycle shop to get it fixed. And he said as he was typing in, everything just went black. And I said, what, like the GPS went black? He went, no, me. He woke up in a hospital bed, completely naked, with 2 police officers standing in his room. He had no idea how he got in there. Now what had happened is, as he was typing into the GPS, he cycled into the back of the truck. And he broke his jaw and badly bruised some of the ribs on his left hand side. and he had to get cut out of his clothes, that's why he was naked. 4 days later, he was back on his bike, cycling into a headwind across Australia. Now, when I was trying to cycle to Hamburg, I was staying in luxury hotels everywhere I went. This guy slept in a tent with massive holes in it most of his journey. And as he was sleeping in the Australian outback, he'd have holes in the tent and spiders and all sorts of insects and stuff would be crawling in on him when he was sleeping. When he was working his way through the southern states of America, it's a picture from the desert, he said he was sleeping a lot of the time in these walk-in post boxes. And he said one night, absolutely exhausted, he walked into a post box and he went to lay down a sleeping bag, and a rattlesnake had just shed its skin where he was about to go to sleep, so he had to find somewhere else to sleep that night. And as he made his way through particularly more remote parts of the world like South America and I suppose the Australian outback, he said an awful lot of the time he didn't have access to money or food, and he had to just ask strangers, "Can I have a sandwich please?" or a glass of water. And I've met Simon a few times now. He's a very shy, quiet man. So that would have been really outside his comfort zone. And he said to me, in order to survive this trip, he had to discover talents and abilities that he didn't know he had before. He had to get to a depth of resourcefulness he didn't know that he had. And that's something I noticed with most of these people that I interviewed who achieved something extraordinary. As they work towards their extraordinary achievement, they discover talents and abilities they didn't know existed in them. And that'll be the case for you guys as well. If you decide someday, I'm really going to go after that exciting dream that I have, you'll discover talents and abilities that you didn't know you had either. But you need to be deliberate about what you focus on as you work towards that dream, because whatever we focus on grows. If you're working towards your dream and you focus on the problems, you're going to see an awful lot of problems. You're going to amplify them into something bigger than they actually are. You're going to feel overwhelmed by them. You're going to feel paralyzed by them. And eventually, like me, on my little trip to Hamburg, you'll probably throw in the towel. But if you decide to act a little bit more like Simon, if every time you encounter a problem on your journey, if you decide to ask solution questions like this, how can I solve this problem? Who can help me solve this problem? And how will other people solve this problem? If you ask questions like that, you'll start to see the answers. That's what will come into focus. And it's by asking questions like that, that 159 days after he set off, this is a picture of Simon cycling into Cavan Town to the cheers of family and friends, celebrating the achievement of an incredible dream that he resolved would one day come. The only question was when. Thank you.